Donald Trump is having a meltdown on Saturday morning as barricades are being put up in Washington, D.C. around the White House and the Treasury Department building. Now, there are a few protests that I guess are being planned in the Washington, D.C. area, sending emails begging his supporters for more money. Ben, I need your help. I hate to ask you this, but I'm going to need some more money from you. I'm not sure why they would be having those barricades around D.C., but we all know that Donald Trump hides in a bunker and is scared of the people.
Barricades go up in D.C. Trump fires desperate emails, and America wonders, has Donnie Diapers finally lost control? Stick around as we expose the shocking connection between his policies and the Saturday meltdown you won't believe. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Why are there suddenly barricades sprouting around Washington, D.C. like they're part of some stealthy government garden project?
59% of Americans oppose it in the Fox News poll. When it comes to the Quinnipiac poll, only 27% of people support it. But Donald Trump continues his grift in his little bunker. Donald Trump sent the following email at 6:51 a.m. in the morning. I hate asking my supporters for help, but today is one of those days where I just don't have another option.
The White House, the Treasury Department, two of the most high-profile spots in the country, now look like they're prepping for battle, and everyone's left scratching their heads. Is Trump fortifying the place against protests, planning some over-the-top security stunt, or maybe he's scared of something we're not supposed to know about yet? Online, the guesses are flying around faster than Trump's tantrums. Some think it's prep for the 4th of July, while others are convinced it's about quelling potential protests. And let's face it, with Trump involved, the something more sinister theory isn't exactly a stretch.
What do you mean you have no other option? Haven't you been selling meme coins and making billions of dollars off of the presidency? Why are you begging your supporters for more money right now? That Donald Trump made late last night? Where does CNN get its talent? Just watched someone named Abby Phillip lecture her audience on tariffs and the economy, which is doing record business. That's how you are spending your time in the presidency? Also, it seems like you are watching CNN because you're saying that you were watching it and you're attacking Abby Phillip.
This isn't the first time Trump's relationship with barricades and force has gotten some attention, though. Cast your mind back to one of his overblown military parades, where he warned that any protesters would face very heavy force if they dared to disrupt his big moment. The man loves a good show of strength, preferably with himself at the center of it. And let's not forget that he routinely paints protesters as paid insurrectionists, like he's living in some kind of dystopian movie where everyone with a picket sign is secretly on George Soros's payroll. His combative tone in public only fuels the tension, making this latest spectacle with the barricades even more bizarre. But here's the kicker. Trump's over-the-top language and these literal walls he's putting up seem less like power moves and more like desperation. Think about it. When you're barricading yourself in, whether it's with words or steel fences, it's probably because you're trying to keep something out. Or maybe because you're trying to avoid what's coming in. The tough talk, the public bravado, it's starting to look a lot like someone who knows the walls are closing in, both metaphorically and, well, literally. And if those barricades are any symbol, it's one of growing isolation. Trump's actions aren't just alienating entire swaths of the country, they're practically screaming that the man behind them is feeling cornered. But things got even weirder on Saturday, and that desperate email, it might just explain everything. What kind of leader wakes up at the crack of dawn, fires off a fundraising email, and kicks it off with, I hate asking my supporters for help? Well, Donald Trump, apparently. At 6:51 a.m. on Saturday morning, while barricades were being thrown up around D.C., Trump fired off an email practically begging for cash, claiming, my end of quarter deadline is less than 48 hours away, and I need your help to reach my presidential fundraising goal ASAP.
Then Donald Trump posts the following: why are the Democrats always rooting against America? ? We actually support America. We don't support an orange Mussolini dictator like you. Fox and Friends weekend is fantastic, absolutely killing the fake news networks' morning shows. Actually, Donald, the Midas Touch network gets significantly more views than Fox News in the morning. Essentially, in presidential history at this time, even lower than your first term. That's why millions of people show up at the No Kings protest to protest you.
It sounds more like a plea from someone hawking knockoff handbags on a QVC special than the words of a self-proclaimed billionaire. But hey, at least the irony is free. Let's pause here. This is the same guy who claims to know the art of the deal, brags endlessly about his successful businesses, and even sold meme coins like he was late to the crypto scam party. But now, while facing national chaos and unveiling budget plans Americans hate, he's asking the very people his policies hurt to pull out their wallets. Look closer at his track record and you'll see why the email triggered such a backlash. Remember his budget bill? It was so unpopular that even Fox News polling showed 59% of people hated it, and that's saying something. A Pew Research poll squashed it even further, with only 29% of Americans willing to tolerate it.
Just contrast that to what Donald Trump said right after the assassination took place. Trump was asked, and he's consistently said this. So,
Governor of Minnesota's so whacked out. I'm not calling. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, "Hi, how you doing?" The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
These politically motivated assassinations in Minnesota. By the way, from a MAGA supporter, from a Trump supporter. Remember, all the right wing tried to spread the lies and go, "Oh, this guy is a Democrat."
It probably doesn't help that this budget proposed gutting Medicaid, potentially leaving 15 million people scrambling for affordable health care. Imagine being someone who relies on Medicaid, seeing an email from the guy trying to take it away, asking, "Can you spare some change?" It's like being mugged and then handed a fundraiser flyer for the mugger's yacht repair fund. This whole thing isn't just about Trump's fundraising habits. It feels like watching the facade of Trump the successful businessman crumble in real time. Why does a man who supposedly hates asking for money keep doing it when his policies are burning holes in Americans' finances? What does that say about his leadership or that desperation barricade he's putting up around himself? The barricades, the email, the policies. It's all part of the same story. Desperation disguised as strategy. Those towering steel walls around the White House aren't just blocking off protesters. They're a reflection of Trump trying to shield himself from mounting political failure. And that early morning email? It's hard to scream wealthy leader while practically rattling a tin cup to your base. Throw in a budget bill that slashes Medicaid for 15 million Americans while sinking in polls, and the desperation becomes impossible to ignore. So here's the question. How much longer will we let these walls hide the truth?